Hey everybody, I'm Danny from Rusted Out Revival Garage. I want to make this video as a shout out video to my buddy John over at Alpha Charlie Concepts. What he did for me today about putting out the word of my new YouTube channel, it means a lot to me. We've been friends for a very, very long time, probably 6th, 7th grade. Grew up together, hung out together, best friends, graduated together. He's actually, like he said in his video, probably partially responsible for me and my wife getting together. So I said big shout to him. I know that a lot of you come from his channel. You're doing it as a favor to him, which is a huge favor to me. I don't want you to think that just because I'm doing vehicle content that I don't have an appreciation for the gun community, Second Amendment community, because I do. My other hobby is guns. I'm not necessarily into the tactical stuff. As you can see, I'm into vintage guns. I have quite a fair amount of old, well, it's not old, these are just recreations of vintage ARs, M1 carbines, M14, Robinson M96, H&K 33 clone. I mean, I have a bunch of old school stuff. Mini 14 stainless steel folding stock, like the 18 from the 80s. Mine was actually a police trade-in, so it's the real deal. Coffee. Need to get a sip. Notice that pinky extended. We're refined on this channel. But anyway, so like I said, just want to do a huge shout out. I want to thank y'all again. Again, I'm into the gun content as well. Second Amendment, being prepared. It's just not what my niche is for a content. So again, old school. I'm old school. I'm not old. I'm vintage. So let me set this down before it falls, because I spent a lot of time building that and don't want it to break. Funny. It's from when me and John used to play war when we were kids. Still have my steel pot, John. So anywho, I also want to dive into my background and story. You know, me and my wife met when we were 15 at our school, hanging out with John, and dated throughout high school. Love of my life, soulmates. Got married in 1994, so you can do the math on how long. We actually celebrate our 30th anniversary this year. So it's been a great life. I have a wonderful son that just turned 29. His name's Bradley. He helped me film the video the other day for the first wash. Had a good life. Unfortunately, the last couple years I've had some bumps in the road. A few years back, I had a lump come up underneath my arm and went to the doctor, and they're like, "Oh, it's a lipoma, nothing to worry about. Not cancer. If it gets any bigger, we'll remove it." You know, he felt on. Never did any testing. Just kind of, I'm not a doctor. Stayed in a Holiday Inn Express once, but not a doctor. So I took their word for it. So fast forward about a year after that, lump got really big. Went back to the doctor. It's a lipoma. We'll just get you set up with a surgeon. We'll get it cut out, and you'll be good. So it took a while to get the appointment. Now, mind you, COVID's going on during this time period, so it took a while to get the appointment, get with the surgeon, get the referral, then get the appointment with the surgeon. So the Friday before Labor Day of 2021, I was taken into surgery. Prepped, Again, was told by the surgeons, nothing to worry about, no problem. So they put me under. They had told me I was going to have a drain put in for a week, get rid of any excess fluid, and then I'd be good to go. So I got put out for the surgery, and next thing I know, I'm waking up. And so the attendant told me, hey, I'm going to get your wife. And she rounds the corner, and she's got tears in her eyes. And so when they cut me open, they realized that it was my lymph node ate up with cancer. And that they were going to refer me to an oncologist, and that they had done a biopsy. And so next thing you know, I'm at an oncologist's office, and they're like, oh, don't worry, probably caught it early, stage 1, a little bit of chemo, you'll be good to go. Had to do a PET scan. The very next day, I'm getting a phone call saying, Mr. Powell, you need to get to your office right now. I get there and proceed to be told that I have stage 4 cancer, lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Large diffuse B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So my wife fell apart. She went to pieces. But I was determined, okay, doc, what's plan A, what's plan B, what's plan C, X, Y, Q, T, whatever. Because I told him I was going to beat this. And so that's September of 2021. And he told me I had to start treatments right then. If not, I wouldn't see 2022. So we started the chemo treatments, and chemo's no joke, people. I had to have between 8 and 9 hours a day of chemo, 21 days apart. So fast forward to 2022, and in August I got a clean bill of health, meaning that there's no detectable cancer cells right now. So God is good. God's awesome. God answered prayers. During the time period, my wife had a hard time dealing with it, but she soldiered on. She helped get us to a financial point. We had newer cars. We had stuff that she got rid of, was able to sell back to the dealership for more money than we made. So we got things paid off to get ourselves financially set. House was already paid off. We got credit cards paid off. I sold some old cars that I had, put a little money in the bank. So like I said, fast forward to August of 2022, and they pretty much said, clean bill of health. So I had been working a job that I just despised for 10 years. And there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on, a lot of drama. And I was just, after having cancer and surviving, I just didn't, I needed to break. I needed to recoup. I needed to regenerate. And so I resigned. And, my wife was kind of, are you sure? But she said, I support you 100%. And so I resigned, but then 2 or so weeks into that, I was going to take a few months off. So about 2 weeks into that, I get an offer from a company for a job. And it was work from home, small travel, once a quarter. Oh, more coffee. Small travel, once a quarter. Wife was allowed to go with me. Life was good. So I took that job. First week I had to travel to Memphis for some training. Second week I had to go to Illinois to the corporate office to pick up a company car, do some training, bring it back. Third week, just did some work from home, some training. Fourth week was Thanksgiving. Had a trip planned down to Daytona for the Turkey Rod Run, so did that. Fifth week, I had scheduled a trip to Columbia, South Carolina. My wife went with me. We drove down on a Wednesday night, had a nice dinner, nice night out. Got up that morning, met with the drivers, and was done by 9. We had made plans to go find an outlet mall to look for Christmas presents for the grandkids. It's December 7th. December 7th morning was great. I remember putting my arm around her, telling her I love her, and I couldn't do these trips without her, and I was glad that she was here. We went and got her a cup of coffee, and we got in the car and went down to a gas station to get gas. And friends, let me tell you something. A lot of people don't know the exact moment that their life changed. I know it to the day, to the minute, to the second. I was pumping gas into the car, and I just hung up the pump to hit print the receipt, hit print, and at 9:58 my wife sneezed, and that was it. She immediately became dizzy, nauseated, just couldn't hardly sit up straight. She told me to take her to an urgent care or the hospital, but we thought it was her vertigo. She has suffered vertigo in the past. I got her to an urgent care, and they did nothing for her. They said that they couldn't test for the vertigo, that we needed to go to the hospital. I asked where the hospital was at. They said, you'll have to Google it. Hospital was 3 minutes away. 3. So I get her to the hospital, and there's people all in this ER, and I go to the front desk, and they get this old gentleman to come out to help her get out of the car, and I think he needed a wheelchair more than she did. Long story short, we sat in that hospital for 3 hours, and they did nothing for her. She was vomiting. She was, slouching down in the wheelchair because she couldn't keep her balance. She was dizzy. She was nauseated. And again, we thought it was her vertigo. So I went to ask them if there was anything they could do, and they say, sir, there's people that's been here 3 hours before you got here we haven't seen yet. I said, well, can you at least make her comfortable? I was told, well, you can go wait in your car if you'd like, and we'll call you. So by that point, I was aggravated, and they told me that I could try other facilities and see if they could get her in faster. And I just refused to keep jumping from facility to facility in Columbia, South Carolina. So see her to take her back to the hotel, got her in bed. Again, I didn't know she was having a stroke. She said she couldn't make the trip back to Jacksonville. She was too nauseated, so we thought if she fell asleep next morning she would be okay like she normally is. Next morning she wakes up, she's no better. So I go and get her some Dramamine, give it to her. Notice a slight droopiness in her face. I got her in that car, carried her to that car, and I made it back to Jacksonville in record time, but I had to keep reaching over. She was turned away from me, and I had to keep reaching over to make sure she was still breathing, because I was scared. I was scared she wasn't. So I got her to the hospital here in Jacksonville, and they immediately took her in and did a CT scan, and they told me that she had a massive stroke, and I fell to pieces. The love of my life had been having a stroke since the day before, and I was mad at God. I was yelling at God. I remember they had to transport her down to the downtown neurological center, and I was screaming at God in the car. Why did you heal me? Why? Why did you heal me? Why did you cure me from cancer to take her away from me? You should have just killed me. She ended up spending 2 months in the hospital between. She was in ICU for 4 weeks. She was their star patient, their #1 VIP. A lot of the reason she was in the hospital that long was because the blood clot she got in her leg that then broke off into her lung, pneumonia in a lung. She had to be on a ventilator for a week. She had to have a craniotomy where they took a portion of her skull out. And now, mind you, I let this job that I had know what was going on. And they're like, you know what? Just your family, we told you when we hired you, just let us know what was going on. We went to that hospital with no insurance because I just started that job. 28 days into it, I get a letter in the mail saying I need to elect my COBRA insurance from my previous employer to be able to have coverage. So I sit there and spent $10,000 to catch that insurance up, and then had to pay a premium of $2,900 a month so we would have insurance. But that was a drop in the bucket compared to the $1.4 million in medical claims that she's had since. But you know, God is good. As much as I was mad at him and hated him, God is good. And she was able to come home. She spent almost 2 months exactly between the hospital, the rehabilitation, another hospital, and then back to rehabilitation. I've got stories for days. I could go, this video could be 12 hours long about the stuff that happened while she was in the hospital. But I thank God every day that she's with me. She's definitely messed up. She's got a lot of issues, but she has her memories. She has her personality. She has use of all of her extremities. It's just when she sneezed, it ruptured the wall in the back of her artery feeding her cerebellum, in the spinal column. And so essentially her cerebellum's dead, which controls coordination, balance. She has constant double vision. She can walk on flat ground in the house. She can't come out here in the yard and walk around. She has a hard time going into the kitchen, and she can't really fix herself something to eat and carry it in. She has no stability. But I thank God that I'm able to right now stay home and be with her. The government won't help me. Too many assets. I've done everything the right way in my life. I've done the right things. I've made the right choices, and I'm being punished for it. Couldn't get on Medicaid because I have more than $6,000 in assets. I have a small 401k. Small. I own some cars. My house is paid off. I don't owe credit cards. I don't owe on car payments. I don't owe anybody anything. The only thing I owe is the thanks to all of y'all. The thanks to all my friends and family. The thanks to John. That's the people I owe. And like I said, I could go on for days. And I'm not a very preachy person. I don't force my religion on anybody. But I tell you what, friends, God is good. God is awesome. God is a great God. And if you don't know him, you need to get to know him. And if you don't want to know him, that's on y'all. That's on you. So with that, I'm not employed. But hey everybody again, sorry I had to break in. Part of the story I forgot to tell when I was telling it was that the new job that I had gotten, through all of that, they day after New Year's, they informed me that, after I called them the day after New Year's to find out if I could get to working again, they proceeded to say, ask me if I could still talk on the phone and use the computer and such. And sure, I'm just sitting in this hospital. And so they said they would get back with me the next day. Well, 2 days later, I had to call them, and basically they let me go. They told me that they didn't want me to have to choose between taking care of my wife and the job. So yeah. They said that when my wife got better, I could call them and back, and I'd have a job. So forgot to throw that in there. I was kind of emotional telling some of the story, and I forgot to add that detail. But again, God's good, and He's providing. He's taking care of me and Mary. So all right, I'll let you get back to my story. I'm kind of long-winded. But I'm been buying and selling things on Marketplace. I'm trying to bridge that gap till she gets on disability and helps out with that. But I decided to start this YouTube channel. I don't ever foresee me being a vice grip garage or any of them type guys, but people are always interested in the things I did with cars. I've been messing with cars since I was 14 years old. My first car was a 66 Mustang. You know, I love rebuilding this old junk. And you know, it's just like with my wife. She says she's broken. Yeah, she's broken a little bit, but I love fixing broken things. I love helping work on broken things, and I'm going to get her back with the grace of God and help of God. I hope to get her back to the best she can possibly be. So I'm going to kind of end that here. Again, this wasn't a pity party. This wasn't a begging. I just want to create this channel, put some good content out there. It helps me. It's my therapy. Call it my wrench therapy. Get out here and work on this old junk. Passing the torch on to my son, teaching him this truck, this 67 F100. It's going to be his. I'm giving it to him, and we're still going to make video content with it, but it's his. It was his friend that I got it from, but my son's going to continue with this truck, and again, we'll make more videos of that. But again, I just wanted to tell everybody thanks. Again, John, I love you, brother. You know, anytime that you have a friend that you might not talk to every day, every week, every month, but you always have those friends that you know that at any time you can pick up the phone, or you can walk over to their house and you can pick up a conversation, and it's like you've been, you know, with each other 24/7, and just start over where you left off. And John is a good friend, and I'm lucky to have somebody like John as a friend. So again, I want to thank you. If you're inclined to do so, please subscribe to my channel, Rusted Out Revival Garage. Who knows, might even do some videos with John, shooting some vintage guns. John, I'm not tactical. Trigger finger, iron sights. Of course, I'm getting older. My type of optic. No battery, no mess. It always works. So anyway, again, I want to thank you. I'm going to end this here. May God bless you. And again, please like and subscribe if you choose to do so. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know what I can do to help earn your subscription, as Restoration would say. And again, thank you. May God bless you. Have a great day.